I definitely think I need to make a few little adjustments there. I put that pair of glasses right over there by one of the books. Now, here I am. I want to visit with you folks this morning, and I have in my lap here beautiful baby. And I've been doctoring her little eye. Her name is Mustang Sally, and I'm going to show you Mustang Sally that I found Mustang Sally in the woods out there, and she likes to hang around with me while I'm doing my YouTube and stuff. And she don't know what's going on, but she'll be a lot better pretty soon. Her is beautiful. Her name is Mustang Sally. I found her at the very same time that I found her little sister out there. And I found the little sister, and I'll show you the little sister next time. She's kind of ugly, but she's just beautiful. And her little sister's name is Joy Ford. Joy Ford's a famous Nashville music industry icon, and she's one of my friends. And so the other one I'll show you next time I come on, but this time I wanted to go live for a few minutes and talk to you, my great friends, about this case of our lovely lady Nancy Guthrie, who went missing February the 1st back a few months back. And we've all just been totally perplexed because there's nobody has any ideas of what happened to the lovely lady. And at first they were saying, oh, she was kidnapped. You know what? I knew from the very beginning that Nancy Guthrie was nowhere near kidnapped. I knew that it was some kind of family trouble. I knew that it was some kind of hoax going on. I even thought maybe it might have involved her, and might have been something that she set up, and her family had set up. And now we're finding out some very interesting things. They still have not found her. They still have no idea who took her out of there. They don't even know if she walked out and the whole thing was planned. What in the world is going on here with this Nancy Guthrie case? Now some new information and some things we do know. A few days ago, I think it's the mothers organization down in North Mexico that are trying to find this precious woman. This group of volunteers in North Mexico, they got a tip, and the tip had information with it that led them to believe that it was a very serious tip, and it told them that Miss Nancy had been buried out in a area in North Mexico where a lot of people have been buried, and they did find a lot of graves there. Welcome to my live chat. Hello, I know this is a crazy time of day to have this, but I'm telling you, I've got so much going on, I don't even know what month it is. So I'm trying my best to stay in touch until we really get some serious formatting and stuff going on. Somebody knocking on my door, it never ends around here. Now, I do want to continue with this. So this mothers group, and you're right, Sally. So this mothers group got a tip that she had been buried down in North Mexico in a widespread area that looked like a no man's land. And I understand that this area is borderless, you might say, going through there, and people can go in there and dump bodies. How horrible is that? And this mother's group actually found 20 or 30 people down in there that sadly enough had been totally dumped. And these people have not been identified. It's just dead people, remains of dead people out there. How sad that is. I do understand that Miss Nancy Guthrie has not been found. Her body has not been located. That's not to say this tip was bogus. That's not to say there's not more to it than meets the eyeballs, and I think there probably is. You remember that from the first day I got on here, I said that the seemed like all the FBI people and the police officers that were on there were saying that the guy looked like a bumbling idiot because he had his gun in the wrong spot, and it wasn't intelligent to do that, or it wasn't normal police code behavior, or etc. And I got right on the internet and went to actually research, and I told my girlfriend Jan Mathis, who was a cop all her life and worked for the sheriff's department. I don't know. I have a girlfriend that worked for the FBI, a cousin of mine, and she was high level investigator. And in fact, she was my cousin, Linda, beautiful Linda, investigated the investigators, so she was right on up there. And I told them I researched the way that gun was being carried, and guess what? That was called a Mexican carry. So I'm the first one that established, I really think I am, that said on YouTube that this was a Mexican carry, and it was all connected to Mexico. Now, one thing let me remind you of, you remember that when they took the middle daughter Annie's car in, and they went over that car from back end to front end, and all the carpet, I understand the whole car was just about took apart. They were looking for some DNA, and they found some foreigners or unidentified piece of DNA that they did connect to a person who was listed in the CODIS, or the National Criminal Files. They did detect and gather a piece of DNA out of that car that belonged to a thug that was not from Tucson. I understand the guy was part of a major, big, like a cryptocurrency scamming organization. I think they said the guy operated out of a foreign country. You realize I'm not a law enforcement officer. I'm an author and proud of it. I'm a teacher. I taught kids in high school. I taught little kids through my work with the library. I taught 5,000 adults in a state program that I operated for 11 years. So I'm a poet. I'm a novelist. I'm award winning. I've done my homework on this stuff. I know how to research. When I started working as a young person, I worked in the newspaper business as a reporter. I'm not as good as young Brian Anton, I think is his name, or they call him Brian Anton. But boy, ain't he the hot thing. And so he is really on this, and I thank the Lord for him, because somebody needs to be digging, and it just seems that all the pieces might be finally coming together. They did find some kind of little bit of DNA that was connected to some thug way off up north, I think, that was on the wanted list, that was connected to a major international scamming or some kind of cryptocurrency scam that targeted, I think, older people and people with a lot of money. And that would have been, I don't know how much money Miss Nancy had, but she was connected to young Savannah, who is a star on NBC, the Today Show. And so there is money in the family. I don't think the son-in-law and the middle daughter had a lot of money. And so I am now wondering if it is possible that the middle daughter and the son-in-law there, who seem to be dreamers, and I know all about dreamers, although I worked my butt off all my life to have my home and my land and what little I've got, and I drive an old Cadillac, so I'm not rich by any means, although I will pop in here and say that I was promised a Tesla by somebody that said they were Elon Musk, and I knew it was a scam, and they were trying to get my info and stuff like that, and I didn't give them any info. And then some smart aleck got on my Twitter account and said I didn't want the Tesla because I couldn't afford the charging station. And I said to myself, how rude is he? He don't know if I can afford to pay my light bill or not. But anyway, I did want that car, and I never did get it, so I knew. I think Elon Musk right now would have to send me one, because I did support President Trump with YouTube videos for about a year, and I think I've done a pretty good job, don't you? Anyway, back to the story of Nancy Guthrie. So now it seems that Nancy herself might have been investigating some kind of a scam group, maybe out of Texas. She had been calling a property group head office, and it didn't seem like it was a legitimate group when they started investigating. It said it was in a small building, and it wasn't even a big, nice office building, but they were interested. She was interested in finding out if these people might be trying to scam her. What if they were trying to scam the middle daughter and that son-in-law, who, like I said, they appear to be dreamers. My goodness. Poets and musicians. I worked in music in Nashville, Tennessee. I know all about music, and I know all about musicians and how dreamy they are. A lot of them live in La La Land and see themselves as Johnny Cash or something, but they're not. But anyway, and anyhow, so it seems that they've made a little bit of a connection between this guy way off that had something to do with a scam on cryptocurrency. And now the trail has led back to Mexico, thanks to the digging of that young silver-haired cutie pie down there, Brian Anton. And he probably don't want me to say that, but I'm old enough to be his grandma, so I'm saying it anyway. But anyway, it seems like there is some kind of Mexican connection, and it's possible, since the son-in-law and the middle daughter were trying to borrow $1 million from Nancy, and Nancy had the wisdom and the guts about her to say, no, I'm not loaning you the money to pay your light bill, and so you can forget that. And so, but it seems like there were money transfers going on out of Miss Nancy's bank account there in Tucson. So the first thing that comes to mind is she had to have her money. I bet you $5 million she lived on a budget, no matter how rich she was. The richest man I know, and he's a multi-millionaire, and he's a good friend of mine. And he is the richest man I personally have ever known. I've known some millionaires, but this guy's like a multi-millionaire. And I can tell you right now, he lives on a budget. His ex-wife there told me that he gave her like $40 or $50 a week, and this was a long time ago, to feed a family of 4. And so talk about budget. So we know that smart people that have a lot of money do live on a budget. I live on a budget. I don't have any money, but I live on a budget. I can tell you one thing. There must be a connection to these people down in Mexico and the property company, because right before she left there, and she might have left there headed for glory right then, and we don't know that yet, but we're going to find out. But the truth of the matter is, before she vanished out of her home on February the 1st, they found out that she had been making calls to find out if these people were scamming who. Was it her they were trying to scam? Was it the middle daughter and the son-in-law, who, like I said, seemed to be dreamers Maybe they didn't have enough money to pay off their debts. I don't know. Who knows? It's none of my business anyway, but we're making it the business of the world because we care about this woman. We want her legacy as a Christian and a smart, wise mom who finished raising her kids who were teenagers and young adults, and I think grown pretty much after the daddy got killed. But we feel like she deserves to be respected enough to have closure, and her family, for whatever reason, needs to have closure. Nancy Guthrie, you need to come home and rest in peace. So there's still a lot of questions out there. The Pima County Sheriff's Department doesn't seem to know any answers, but I'm sure those investigators have a lot of answers, and I'm sure they are biting at the bit to make an arrest of someone. So this story has been bizarre. Nancy's still missing. I love you people for watching my video. Sally and I have already been up doing some research work this morning. I do constant research, and I am about to expand my YouTube channel, my Instagram, and the other sites that I've got. And I am about to help you folks by giving you some information that senior citizens are going to love. I see you all watching me. I don't know who's a senior and who's not, but the wisdom of senior citizens is fixing to hit you right between the eyes from my YouTube channel. I will do a poetry video probably right now in a minute on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Peggy Mercer, Writing for Love and Maybe Money. And then also, I have a chat going. I have some other YouTube stuff going on. I have talked to, let me get my glasses back. I see somebody really trying to tell me something here on the YouTube channel. And hello, madam, and just chatting. Thank you so much, and I see people I know on there. Thank you. I just tell you the truth. I just love you all. This is like gathering at the water cooler. I had to get up every morning of my life and throw on a suit and a pair of little high heels and go to my office, and now Sally and I are just taking it easy. I have rescued so many cats here. If you want to help with them, just bring me over a bag of Friskies and that'll work. But anyway, it was good to see you people today. Let's continue to say the name Nancy Guthrie. Let's continue to keep it in the newspaper. We are not the pros. We're the armchair guys trying to help figure this out. And we are also sometimes smarter than fifth graders, and we will get to the gist of it, and we will get to the bottom of it. I think maybe sometimes it's a lot simpler than. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want to see who that is. Is that somebody named William, or is this Melissa, or this wow country? Somebody say hi. I'm saying hi to you, and I hope and pray that you have a great day. I just got my yards cut yesterday, and I was in here a while ago just tooling around with the little kittens, and I was thinking to myself, we need to do whatever we can to make a good, leave good footprints in this world behind us. I have a new portrait book coming out, and I'm going to YouTube and talk about the new portrait book, and some really fabulous more little bits of research that I'm doing. I'm not up to the par of the FBI ladies and the others that are, but I'm up to the par of feeding Sally and Joy Ford goat milk every morning. They can't be fed milk, they're too little, but they can get their goat milk, and so I've rescued a whole pile of them, and my Persian cat that I love so good is in there with her 5 new babies. So if you're interested in a full-blooded Persian kitten. You'll get one in about 4 weeks from now. But I want to thank everybody. I'll see you in a few days. More about Nancy. Thank you so much. Hey, now one thing that I do see here is it says we can have a poll. Let's do have a poll. Let's try to ask some questions. How many of you out there watching think that Nancy's disappearance has something to do with Mexico? How many of you like this video and plan to support Miss Peggy right on by your hellos and your cheers and your prayers? Let's ask that, okay? I love you all, and I will stop now. I thank you so much. I think it says the poll is coming on. I can't even begin to see this. I'm going to get this little bitty camera and stick it on top of my computer there, so maybe that'll help me. I've had cataract surgery and it left one of my eyes, although my eyes have always been quite beautiful. It's left one of them with a little stroke effect, and I can still see pretty good out of it, but nobody wants to ride with me if I drive at night, that's for sure. Okay, thank you so much. Any votes going on? Okay, well,